Ene fiada ye de kasebo tiawa eba besomo e obebia mu obia na kasebo efie graphic online newsroom ana ya so ne so abo ano abo ne tofa ana ye de ebremo mi amede kasebo tiawa ye ebesomo immediate abena ahen Endra appointment committee no etna say omototo asoafa ye mampeni eyi omo say yetoto omo anu wie na say ye omo tumu a omo adwuma ebehya ase na ye endra na ntokwa kese bi esiye ene akasakasa ne mente me ho ase esiye ewo dom kese ene dom kuma na minority ene majority no entem na ne na efa emra edru samoloku jeto Ablakwa ene kwabna minta Akandoh so say anka ye betoto omo ano na we na dom kuma no eka say abonondu na ade asanso ye pa omunso oma brent na nka beya omuntu enhyeda enkoye na efie de ye nde na nka omunfa vete no ento aso na dom kese ne ka se daabi ewo nhihye mu se san nkrofo ewo se yetimi etoto oma no eye ndra nti de ebesi bia no ewo se entoto ye no anase ewo se yetimi etoto oma no nti we ana ede akasakasa no ebae ne sa no dom kuma no ehyaase esai tables eni nkondwa ne microphones a omudi djuma ewo hono no na nam so ama vete na ewo se ekoso ndra no omutu ehyeda ene fiada omode hyehye so
I'm not to them, and that's Look at that.
Enam sa akasakasa ya esi endra ne so no ama dom kuma no press conference anope ya na sei ana omukan.
We have cooperated with the majority side extensively and have even been criticized for not conducting detailed inquisition into matters concerning some of the president's nominees. Despite this, we are beginning to observe attempts by the majority to force through some nominees and railroad them through a rubber stamp process. We are also beginning to observe a breakdown of security, law and order within the precincts of Parliament, and especially last night at the committee room by some NDC thugs. These thugs were hired, organized and brought in to come and intimidate the minority. But let me tell the NDC, we are few, but we are a mighty few. Yeah. We are firm in our conviction, we are determined, and we shall never surrender to their intimidation. Indeed, yesterday night, we saw verbal attacks on us, and it took the vigilance of the police to escort us out of the chamber. We commend the police for what they did last night in ensuring law and order, and we urge them to continue their good work. We are also concerned about the attempt by the majority to disregard pre-sitting agreement on a number of nominees to appear before the appointments committee. Indeed, this is what led to last night's situation. Yesterday, there was an agreement to have only 3 nominees for the day. They later changed it to 4. We agreed, and later requested for a 5th nominee, only to realize that after the 5th nominee, the NDC had smuggled Mr. Okujeto Ablakwa into the committee room. He came fully dressed with his wife and other family members, and he was forcing his way to take his seat. Not only him, there were other regional minister nominees who had not been programmed, but they had forced them into the committee sitting room. Their plan was to use their so-called supermajority to intimidate us. The NDC must know here and now that they won an election, and that election they won, they are to govern together with us. We will not allow them to use their so-called majority to force their way. It won't happen.
And the appointment committee no esanso etnase omototo minister designate ema foreign affairs Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa and Akandoh ano ono ojina ema minister designate ema health apomodin yenhwe senia vete no esi ekoe.
Well, Mr. Nominee, I am a bit worried, particularly with the diplomatic posturing of our president when it comes to the Sahel trio and how it would impact on the image of Ghana as a democratic country. What do you think of it?
And interestingly, ECOWAS will be 50 years this year, and Ghana is likely to host the 50-year celebrations. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama believes that our regional integration agenda should be pursued and should not be abandoned. And so even though our 3 closest neighbors, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, broke away from ECOWAS, and only this week their breakaway became effective, ECOWAS announced that they have completed the cessation. We need to be conscious of the fact that as closest neighbors, even though we are promoting democracy and we have all said no to coups, we face serious threats. The threat of violent extremism and terrorism. And so, as good neighbors, President Mahama is of the view that he should not give up on dialogue. Article 40 and Article 73 of the 1992 Constitution enjoins the President and all of us who will be working in the foreign service space that our strategic national interest should always be at the center of our foreign policy considerations. If you have your neighbors who are being totally taken over with extremism, terrorism, and indeed, all our neighbors have been attacked except Ghana. And we know that if situation gets out of hand, the economic crisis also worsen, we will be affected. We are trading partners as well, and we have historic ancestral ties. There are many Ghanaians who trace their roots from Burkina Faso, from Niger, from Mali. So it is very strategic for President Mahama to say that I want to help resolve this Sahelian crisis. And that is why he appointed the respected, venerable Flight Lieutenant Colonel Bevlolate, who was an AU envoy on counterterrorism and also has the military clout and very close relations with some of these military leaders. So it is in our strategic national interest, as Article 40 and Article 73 and joins us. And that is what informs President Mohammed's posture when it comes to our three neighbors who have formed AES.
Let me ask you, first, on your CV, you've indicated you're a farmer. I know you to be a commercial farmer. Not many people know you to be a farmer. Can you share with us what you have done so far in your business life?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I hold a humble view that as a country, we have absolutely no reason to import food into this country. We can feed ourselves. And have spoken about this issue severally. And therefore, I took the trouble upon myself to demonstrate it. And so I started with cocoa farming. Then I ventured into rice. Almost every household in this country consumes rice. Mr. Chairman, I start from planting through processing to distribution of rice. I started with not less than 150 acres of rice in the Western North region. At the moment, this year, Mr. Chairman, I'm doing not less than 5,000 acres of rice in the Yagaba, So, Kobori, and EZC area in the northern part of the country. And Mr. Chairman, I am determined to even go beyond that. We have not less than 3 processing machines across the country. One in Western North, another one in the Somaya area, and then we're putting up another one 15 kilometers towards Yendi in Tamale to even bring in other equipment like the parboil machine to be able to get the right quality of rice to be produced locally for the benefit of the country. Thank you.
Yeah, to akasiabone so one Ghana movement eden krata ababetudwa omo kasa afa de ekọ so ewo appointment committee no ndra na almost the course no the idea entry ye kra na almost a 9th parliament e 4th republic no mu no almost sha se say nyama eno sa no emboa na appointment committee no e nkrofo Ghana for ye sure mo so mo de nhihye ye pa ebeba ye nso ebeboa na almost sha se e sa nyama we ntokwa ketenkete mente me ho ase almost say nyama e idea emboa ye kra na almost to nkra e de akoma e speaker say e wo say appointment committee no etnas na oni omokasa se na saadie NCBU na ebiom so omoto attorney general nkra se wona omutai echi na omosai nyama no e wo se imbra no eni omudiye pa. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin eni mrashe bedwafo no akasa se e wo se omutimi ekabom na omobo ye mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na ekona eda nenim no otimi ekon na ntokwa ketenkete na omahya ase ekon no enya ade a ebeboa e wo mu se ono na ye mampeni na emum ntokwa no ekoso no enya ade a ebeboa ebiom so okaze wo mu se ono na ye mampeni na ekona eda nenim no enya bakofo ekon nti wo se mrashe bedwafo no e wo so mutimi bako ekabom no moboa ye mampeni na ekona eda nenim no otimi ekon.
Not just this house, I think the whole country has identified a very serious challenge and a threat to the survival of our democracy. A friend of mine resident in the US wrote to me and termed our democracy, Ghana's democracy, as lawless democracy. Now, when they say a democracy is lawless, it means it is not a democracy. It's a failed democracy. Because democracy thrives on rule of law. Rule of law. That is where we have come to. And that is why you have this. The only organ of government that can provide a solution is Parliament. Because all the interest groups are represented here. The president cannot, because the president is seen as representing one class of people, political party. That is what is, you have to lead to find the solution. And so when you get the opportunity and you yourself get up and you are a mirror of what is happening, you encourage it. That is why we say we will manage this discussion so that we can take up the issue of the transitional blues. That's what is happening in our country now. Yes, we have very good, peaceful elections. After that, then everything goes haywire. There's no them and us. There's no them and us. We are the same people. And these people are just tools that are being used by some people in political offices. They are tools. They are just doing that for survival. You are the people behind the scene, pushing them there to do what they are doing. Until the political leaders sit down and take control, this is what will continue to happen in the country. We will all be at risk. And I really don't see leadership in many of you because you are being led by the mob. You are afraid of your followers. The leader must lead. You have to listen to your followers, yes. But you take the decision and you hold yourself responsible. You cannot be allowing mob to be pushing you to be doing what is happening in this country. That is not allowed.
Aha anayade eneka sebutia wai ebesimeda se ojemre ehwe Ministerial so obedi yechi ewo ye website nesographic.com.gh na wasanso following ewo ye social media handles Nesographic online Ghana ewo TikTok Daily Graphic Ghana ewo Facebook and Instagram Graphic GH ewo X and YouTube. Mi amejemre ede eneka sebutia wai ebeso mu media ne abena ahen makramo.